Proportional Response, Book 1. Chapter 21, Part 8, A Pursuit of Strange Orders.
Miss, damn it. I ordered you to miss. And don't sit there and give me some crap about you intended to, and that damned Sultan ship banked into the shot. I have you on targeting, because you are, frankly, the best man on the ship. Now follow your damned orders, or is your fur getting in your eyes, boy?
Petty Officer Imiso wanted to growl under his breath, but the captain didn't tolerate such things. So help me if I figure out who has been teaching him Ruxa insult. He had the Zoltan pilot's pattern now, and could disable or destroy the frigate almost on a whim, but the captain had given him his orders. If that mite-ridden bastard would pay more attention, he'd see I did no appreciable damage with the shot, which is harder than a near miss, but no. Scream at the enlisted man first, check the facts later. If I wanted this aggravation, I would have stayed in my own military. The enemy ship's nose turned slightly and started a slow roll. He keyed in a new firing solution and adjusted it just so, and the beam went off just as the enemy pilot laid on a full retro rocket burn. The shot sliced through the space the engines would have occupied if the burn hadn't happened, so close to those engines that it lit up the enemy ship's exhaust. Imiso could feel the captain's eyes on the back of his neck, but kept his eyes on his screens. He did not, however, even try to hide his smirk. The shot brought a semi-satisfied harumph from the captain. He turned one ear towards the man, and heard him lean back in the command chair. He took a few moments to line up another shot and waited, but the ship did not dodge at the moment he expected. Frack! I must have spooked him, or the captain decided they needed a new helmsman, and it is taking them too long to trade. What kind of idiot sits there this long without dodging with shields down? He tried to come up with a convincing miss, but couldn't. He finally spoke.
Captain, I can't believably miss while the guy is trying to make himself a target, and I can't go much longer without shooting either. Orders? Start building a charge in the main gun and fire a few shots that are obviously intended to herd them into its line of fire. Engineer Watson, when the main gun hits 15% charge, I want you to blow the bolts on this service panel and short out the controls underneath it, then bleed the power out of the main gun.
Imiso wanted to look at his screen and see which panel the captain had indicated, but he had his hands full following his own order. A few moments later, he felt the tiniest of vibrations as the explosive bolts holding down a maintenance panel blew, and then the main gun went down. Something in that whole sequence seemed to have stirred the Zoltan back into action, because the ship rolled again and dove. Not at all the angle I would have expected. Either their helmsman is running scared, or they changed hands. He sneaked a look at the captain, who now sat forward in his chair with his eyes glued in the tactical holoplot in the center of the bridge, and a grin that looked positively feral. And that is why I put up with his crap without protest. He may be a pain in the ass, but he knows his stuff. The captain saw the new course and swore.
Helm, adjust course by 30, mark 34 degrees, and give me full sunlight power. Gunner, when we hit the course, I want a 20-degree arc across their line of travel. Do not let them hold this course. Get them headed back in the direction we want. Aye aye, Captain, guiding our little sheep back onto his path.
He shouted the response as he fired the barrage, then started making follow-up shots as if he thought the enemy ship intended to keep its course. Although, why the hell the captain wants to herd this ship towards neutral territory rather than take or destroy it, I don't understand. A chance shift of the ship's air circulation brought the captain's smell to his nose. Annoyed. Why is he still annoyed? The ship is doing exactly what he wants. He took another look at the enemy's power readings. It will even have its FTL drive spun up before the ruse I am running begins to look obvious. Things are going exactly to whatever insane plan he has hatched. Why is he annoyed?
Damn it, Gunner. That last shot was out of place. One more like that and this idiot may decide he can break in a direction we don't want. Helm, adjust course.
Imiso focused back on his shooting, keeping that ear turned to the captain in case he got new orders. What the hell my current orders mean though? I don't understand. He took another shot. This one nearly grazed the enemy hull. He heard the captain go still for a moment, and the hackles rose on his neck, but he didn't dare look over at the man. Then, someone at the sensor station sang out.
They dumped power from weapons into the drive. Evade, evade. No, belay that. It worked, crazy lizards. They go to FTL. In 5. Extrapolating course. 4. Got it. 3. They are 8. Mark 15 degrees from desired course.
2. The captain called for emergency FTL, which had already been on standby, and Imiso felt the deck rumble beneath his feet in protest as they redlined the engines. 1. There they go! The captain roared orders over the whine of the strained engines.
Helm, bring us about to a pursuit course. Sensors, double-check their course and watch them. Feed any necessary corrections directly to the helm. Don't bother calling them out to me. Damn it, where is my singularity?
The engineering station responded.
45 seconds, sir.
Sensor answered without being asked.
We have a minute and 23 seconds before they are out of tachyon sensor range, 5 minutes before we lose them completely. With their speed, and us still capable of full power.
She paused a moment to glance at the engineering station and received a nod in return.
We should be in missile range in about 3 minutes. However, sir...
She pulled up a spatial map on the holoplot, showing their prey's course, and put a semi-transparent wall in the path.
That is the beginning of neutral territory, the space around a Gorful colony. I can't tell if there are council ships.
The captain waved his hand to cut her off. Imiso heard him mutter something. It had sounded like, "There damned well better be," but that couldn't be right. He wanted, badly, to ask about the remark, but had made a practice of not letting the hairless monkeys know how well he could hear. He heard more fun stuff that way. Imiso ran the plots with his missiles, just to give him something to occupy his time, and kept updated as the ship ahead made the occasional course change to try and gain ground. After no more than a minute, he received a text-only order from the captain to fire a full barrage of R-42 missiles. He turned to ask the captain why the man wanted him to, effectively, send up a bunch of flares in space at a range that couldn't possibly do anything but annoy their target, but something in the captain's gaze stilled his question. He nodded, turned back to his station, and fired off the barrage as quickly as he could. He then went back to plotting the next volley, but stopped to watch the R-42s light up the darkness like a blazing sun. Anything within several light minutes will have seen that, and instantly. The tachyon emissions alone. That's when the captain's brilliance struck him. Of course, the captain wants the eyes of every ship in the sector turned this way. Then they can see how we deal with Zoltan scum who don't have the sense to surrender. He felt a smile creep across his face as he contemplated the chance to take an enemy ship down before witnesses. It made the rest of his irritation feel worth it. As they came into range, he noticed the captain staring over his shoulder, checking his firing solutions. The man gave a grunt of approval, then turned and walked back to the command chair. As soon as the captain sat, he gave the order.
Gunner, you may fire as soon as we are in range. Keep firing with solutions like the one you just calculated. I want that ship off balance and running scared.
Imiso didn't look away from his screen, but gave an enthusiastic acknowledgement. He knew he'd drawn some stares with the answer, but didn't care. In fact, it made him a little proud. He'd seen the captain's plan when no one else did. A true predator, his captain. He felt himself begin to growl slightly each time he hit the firing button, and began to truly enjoy watching the little dot on his screen respond to his launches. It reminded him of chasing Fearadhachs, which the humans said looked like their own rats. Back home, he and his friends used to compete for who could keep one alive the longest. Just when he began to really enjoy the game, he heard sensors call out.
Incoming ship, Captain. Has to be military to be traveling at such speed. They are coming from high port side. Working on the transponder signal. Sir, the ship identifies as the Ruksa Covet Slick Claw. It is broadcasting a leak military ID code, sir.
The captain muttered a single word under his breath, low enough that he knew no one else could have heard it.
Finally.
Imiso felt a little put off by something in the captain's tone, though he couldn't put his finger on what. Nevertheless, he growled under his breath in glee, and felt a truly feral grin spread across his face as he put in the calculations for one last volley. A single missile which would nail the ship in the engines and blow it into tiny pieces. Then the comm officer spoke.
"Captain, the Slick Claw is transmitting a priority request to speak with you at once, sir."
Imiso turned his toothy grin on the captain. Their eyes met for a moment, and he could see the captain's finger twitch as if he was about to give the order. Then, he didn't. He gave a different hand signal, one Imiso wanted to accidentally misinterpret. The signal to continue carrying out his previous order. The captain looked away from him and to the comms station.
"Open a channel."
The bridge of the council's corvette appeared in the holoplot, the Ruxa captain standing straight and tall. Imiso glanced at the hologram between volleys and felt his brows draw down. What is a Venter and a civilian by the look of him doing on the bridge of a Ruxa military ship? Is that a camera he is wearing? Then he had to turn back to his station as the Ruxa captain spoke.
"Human vessel, you are entering the territory of an uninvolved neutral party. You will break off your attack at once and return to contested space."
The captain snarled back at the image.
"I outmass you, I outgun you, and I am pursuing an enemy combatant and engaged in active combat. Under the Articles of War."
The other captain cut in.
"The Articles of War have been adjusted for this conflict, and you damned well know it, Captain. Turn back. Now, don't force me to do something unfortunate."